Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're a database administrator, a cloud architect, or anywhere in IT operations, you already know that keeping a close eye on your infrastructure is absolutely crucial. But let's be real for a second. Trying to make sense of chaotic, scattered database logs, it kind of feels like searching for a needle in a digital haystack, right? Well, today we're going to change that. We're going to walk through the exact blueprint for taking those scattered logs and turning them into a unified, actionable, operational narrative using OCI Logging Analytics. So think about it. What secrets are currently hiding inside your database logs right now? For a lot of us, it's honestly a state of operational blindness. You know the data's in there, somewhere, but extracting any meaningful insight from raw text files spread across a dozen servers, it's incredibly tedious. And that is exactly the problem OCI Logging Analytics solves. Think of it as a massive operational flashlight. It ingests those huge volumes of raw log data and instantly translates them, revealing the inner workings, the security events, and the performance metrics of your databases. We've got 5 quick stops on our roadmap today. The power of database logs, setting the IAM foundation, deploying the management agent, ingesting your database logs, and finally, unlocking powerful database insights. Let's just dive right in. Starting with Section 1, the power of database logs. Let's transform that chaos into clarity. The really cool thing here is that it doesn't matter if you're running your Oracle databases on Linux, on Windows, or heavily relying on Exadata systems, Logging Analytics is your ultimate ally. The goal isn't just to hoard data, it's to take all those scattered log entries and weave them into a single, coherent narrative. We want one definitive source of truth for all your database operations, completely freeing you from getting bogged down in endless, unformatted text files. To make that happen, we move to Section 2, setting the IAM foundation. Think of this as your secure gateway. Now, to maintain a rock-solid security posture, we can't just leave the doors wide open. The management agent is going to be doing the heavy lifting, but it needs explicit permission to operate. So you'll need to set up policies allowing your user group to manage the agents and the install keys in your compartment. You also got to grant read access to metrics, alarms, and tenancy users. And finally, create a management agent dynamic group. By establishing this gateway, you're giving the agent the exact privileges it needs to safely pull logs and push metrics back to OCI without compromising your broader network security at all. Security perimeter defined? Awesome. Let's move to Section 3, deploying the management agent and erecting the infrastructure. This deployment process is super crisp. It's basically a 3-step dance. Step 1, jump into the OCI console and download the specific agent software for your OS. Step 2, before you install, you absolutely have to generate an install key. And a quick best practice here, keep the lifetime of this key to the bare minimum required time. Step 3, execute the installation using a response file, just making sure you've uncommented the necessary parameters, like enabling the Logging Analytics plugin. Simple enough, right? But listen up, because this next part illustrates a massive gotcha you absolutely have to pay attention to. If you're on a standard Linux or Windows deployment, using an RPM or a batch file installer is totally fine. However, if you are deploying on Exadata database service, you must exclusively use the zip method. Why? Well, Exadata Cloud Lifecycle Automation aggressively hunts for unknown RPMs and will literally wipe them out before patching. So if you use an RPM on Exadata, your agent will just vanish during the next maintenance cycle. Definitely don't do that. Always use the zip method for Exadata. While we're talking about Exadata, let's quickly touch on sizing. Because these environments vary so wildly in scale, you have to allocate resources properly so the agent plays nice with your database workloads. For an idle or small setup, the agent barely sips resources, just a gig of disk and a tiny bit of CPU. But as you scale up to medium or large environments, we're talking dozens of container databases, you're going to need to bump that up to 3 gigs of disk and 2 gigs of CPU. You'll also need to configure advanced connection pooling in the properties file to handle that massive throughput. All right, the agent is ready. Section 4, ingesting your database logs. Time to connect the plumbing. In OCI Logging Analytics, the whole shebang revolves around the concept of an entity. An entity is really just a logical representation of your log data sources. It's like a digital map pin for your infrastructure. By defining your Oracle database instance as an entity, you're telling OCI, hey, this is exactly where my logs are coming from. And that allows the system to seamlessly categorize, correlate, and analyze all those incoming events. Now, setting up this entity for a Linux database depends on how you're ingesting the logs. For file-based logs, you'll configure the ADR_home and the audit file dest properties. But if you're doing table-based logs, you need network-level details. Things like the Oracle home, port, service name, and SID. And hey, here's a pro tip, straight from the trenches. If you're sitting there wondering what your directory paths actually are, just log into your database and run a quick SQL query on the $diag_info view. It'll hand you exactly what you need. Now, for the Windows folks listening, you've got it incredibly easy. You just define the entity as a Windows host, and the main thing you care about is Event ID 34. In the Windows application log, Oracle specifically uses Event ID 34 to record audit trail events. You just point the system right there, and it handles the rest. Beautifully simple. Before we move to the final payoff, I want to share a super quick fix for enterprise-scale environments. If your log directories are massive, and let's be honest, over 10,000 files is pretty standard for us, you have to tell the agent it's okay to handle that volume. Just switch to the root user, open your amd.properties file, toss in the line loganalytics.enable_large_dir equals true, and bounce the agent. It takes maybe 30 seconds, and it completely prevents massive upload bottlenecks later on. And that brings us to Section 5, Unlocking Powerful Database Insights. The payoff. The house is built, the plumbing is connected, let's turn the lights on. All of that technical groundwork we just did translates into immediate business value the second you open the database audit dashboard. Right away, you get this gorgeous bird's-eye view of your entire landscape. You instantly see the count and health of all your monitored databases. You can spot audited object trends, meaning you see exactly which tables are hot and being accessed the most. Plus, you get a clean breakdown of your most active users. You don't have to write a single script, and you can already spot potential security risks or performance choke points. But wait, it goes so much deeper. We're talking forensic-level visibility into hidden patterns that you'd basically never find scrolling through text logs. You can identify the exact unique clients pinging your database. You can track deep DML actions, every insert, update, and delete. You can monitor DDL actions across your entire fleet. Just imagine how fast you could trace a data breach or figure out who executed an unauthorized table drop. Every administrative action and security event is grouped, categorized, and visualized right in front of you. It's a total game changer. So it all really comes down to this. Your logs are already writing the incredibly detailed second-by-second story of your infrastructure's health, performance, and security. By leveraging OCI Logging Analytics, you stop guessing and you start turning that raw data into an ultimate operational advantage. The data is sitting right there. The only question left is, are you ready to finally read it?